Okay, in the last video we did the categorical versus categorical significance test, and now we're going to do the categorical versus metric. So when we do that, we're going to use XLData Analyst, and we'll run the difference. The significance is shown, if there is a difference, is shown using the ANOVA, and that tool is located in XLData Analyst under Add-ins, XLData Analyst, Compare 3+ Groups Average. So as a matter of fact, there's going to be a two-part test. So the first thing we do is this 3-point groups average, and we're going to again use the College Life Survey. We're going to look at gender, which is a categorical question, male, female, and then we're going to compare it against the nutrition question to see if there's a significant difference between males and females and how they relate to some of these nutrition questions. So what we're going to do again is run the 3+ groups average, selecting the gender as the age category, and then selecting all the nutrition questions into the target variable. All right, and then what we're looking for is not equal. If it's equal, that means that there's no big difference between the way males and females relate to the nutrition statements. If it's not equal, that means there is a difference, which could mean a key condition for a market segment. In other words, a significant difference. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go to Excel. So I've got my questions, my variables. I've already enabled the macros, and so what I'm going to do is Excel, generalize. Excel compare 3+ groups averages. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select gender, and I'm going to put it into the grouping variable, and then I'll scroll up and I'm going to select all of the nutrition questions, hold down, select the first one, hold down the shift key, select the last one, and click on add target variable. So I'm comparing the nutrition questions against the gender. Click OK, and what you'll find happens is that after XLData Analyst does its processing, it creates a new tab called ANOVA, which is what we're running. And really what we're looking for now, you can see these are all in blue, all the nutrition questions or statements on the survey. Okay, and what we are looking for now are not where it's equal, that means there's no big difference between male and female, but where there is a not equal. So I'm going to click on the Home tab so I can get my formatting, and I like to just make it yellow when I see it so that I can come back and see it easily. So we want to look at all of the questions, and we see that for nutrition is very important to me, there's some difference, and then we see also where I know a lot about nutrition, there's a difference there between males and females, but the other two are the remaining two are the same. So now we've completed the first of two steps of this processing. So let's go back to the presentation and look at the other steps. So we know we found two not equal, and that is summarized here in this slide. We found two. Nutrition is very important to me, and I know quite a lot about nutrition. There is some difference. So now we know that there is a difference. We now have to run the cross tab, which we've already did in the previous video, to get the details of the difference. So we don't have to run cross tab on all nutrition, only on the two that showed a difference. Okay? So this will look familiar to you. You put gender we'll run cross tab, we put gender in the column variable and only select those two nutrition that are relevant to us at this point in time. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to do Add-ins, XLData Analyst, and then we're going to do Relate crosstabs, and again I'll put in the gender in the column variable first, and then I'm going to go up to the nutrition questions and only select those two that where we know there is a difference between the way the males and females relate to those questions. So I select the questions and then I click on this add row variable. So I've set it up, gender column variable, those two, only the important nutrition statements for the row variable, and then I click OK. And as you know, what will happen is that we'll get another crosstab that will be generated. Now, and that it's only generated for the two questions. What we want to, that we're interested in, i.e., nutrition is very important to me, and I know a lot about nutrition. And what it usually gives us is frequency, column, and row percents. What we're really interested in is the column percent. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight that. And remember, what we're also really interested in is the strongly agree and the somewhat agree. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. And when you would report on it, you would add these two numbers together. Okay, you would add strongly agree and somewhat agree together and report on those as a total. And if we go down to the phrase, I know a lot about nutrition, it's the same. They give you frequencies, column percent, row percent. We really want to look at the column percent and report on the top two. And that's what this is. Okay? So these are the numbers that you want to report on. So let's go back to the presentation and it will take us through that. So this, again, is the same result that we got. You only report on the top two boxes. In this case, it's strongly and somewhat agree. And the interpretation is, and remember you need to add these, what you would say is when it comes to importance of nutrition when buying meals away from home, 67% of males, compared to only 57% of males, strongly somewhat agree with the statement that nutrition is very important to me when I buy meals from home. And it's the similar process with the next statement. I know quite a lot about nutrition. Only report on the top two boxes. The interpretation is a significant difference was found with 69% of the men compared with only 57% of the women consider themselves knowing quite a lot about nutrition. For your report, you will do the same sort of analysis for your individual report, and you would continue to see if there's any other segments found for the nutrition question. And then these significant differences, any that you find, would be added to the summary Word document as a sub-bullet point. There's a sample, so let's open the document posted online titled Nutrition Summary with Segments to see how these significant differences would be reported. This document is located in Module 10 on Slate. So, and I happen to have it open already, so let's have a look. So here we have, again, this is the nutrition question that we summarized in Module 9 with all the components of the question and the total somewhat agree, strongly agree graphed. This is the first three bullets are the verbal summary of the chart above, and then the two sub-bullets discuss the significant differences between males and females and their attitudes towards nutrition. So the first bullet talks about the importance of nutrition when buying meals away from home. The second sub-bullet talks about knowing quite a lot about nutrition. Those were the two significant differences that we found. Okay, you can look at this on Slate. So that it's very important that that's the process with the ANOVA. It's important to note that sometimes when you run the ANOVA, and you find that there is a significant difference. You get the not equal. And then, but when you run the crosstab, it states that there's no significant difference. But because ANOVA has already told you there is a significant difference, you should still report the crosstab difference. Okay? Remember that the significance between categorical versus metric is only showed through the ANOVA test. And also, as I was telling you, usually ANOVA or crosstab gives you column percents. But sometimes if it doesn't think it's significant, it doesn't give you column percents. In that case, you can calculate the percents yourself. So for example, here's the formula for calculating percentage if you needed to. And in the next video, we'll go over the last example, which is metric versus metric.